grade 6s and welcome to my science classroom. I would like you to put on your scientist cap as we're going to have a very fun lesson today. So, the topic we're going to cover today is not a topic that is foreign to you. You do know a bit about it, but I am hoping that you will learn something. The first question I would like to ask is, can you please define for me what matter is? What we're going to do is I'm going to give each and every one of you a small placard. You're going to define it for me and we'll hang it up the wall. If you do not know, do not panic. It is okay because we are all here to learn. At the end of the lesson, I would like you to compare your before definition to your after and see if you have learned something. I'll give you 30 seconds to quickly define it. If you don't know, don't panic. You can also write, I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
We can all put our cards on the wall. Okay, so I have defined matter as anything that has mass and volume. So matter is anything that has mass and volume. Can you give me a definition? Can you give me an example of what matter is? Yes?
A door.
A door. Well done. A door is matter. Why is a door matter?
It has a volume.
It has a volume
and a mass.
and a mass. Well done. A door is the matter because it has volume and it has mass. But we're not talking about that today. It was important that we know it as we go through materials. Can anybody give me the 3 states of materials that we have?
Liquid.
Yes, a liquid. Well done.
Gas.
Gas. Yes.
Solid.
Solids. Well done. You grade 6s are good. So these are our states of matter. We have solids, we have liquids, and we have gases. I will quickly run through what solids, liquids, and gases are. So solids. We say solids retain a fixed position, shape. Okay. Solids. Number 1. Solids retain a fixed shape and volume. Second characteristics, do not flow easily. The third characteristics, cannot be easily compressed. An example I brought into class are my dumbbells. Now they take all the characteristics simply because they have a fixed shape and a fixed volume. They do not flow and cannot be compressed easily. So no matter how much I press on it, I cannot change its shape. The second one we spoke about are our liquids. So liquids do not keep their shape. Liquids do not keep their shape. The second characteristic is will take the shape of a container. The third one is will turn to gas when heated, will turn to solids when cooled, and its molecules are loosely packed. Now what am I saying? What I'm trying to say when I say will take the shape of its container is I have a jar of a liquid over here. Now we can see the shape, the water has taken its shape of the container. Now if I pour it in this glass, it changes shape because now it's in a different shape. Now if I take it again and put it in a smaller container, it once again changes its shape. That's what we're trying to say. Again, when we say will turn to gas when heated or will turn to solid when cooled, what I'm trying to say is when it is cooled or put in the freezer, it turns into ice cubes. Here we have ice cubes. Again, so when they are cooled, they turn into ice cubes. But let's look what happens when they are heated. Can we see the gas escaping? So will will turn to gas when heated. The last one that we will cover are our gases. So gases have no definite size or shape. Gases take the shape of its container. A gas will fill all the space inside a container, and gases take up space and have mass. Now, an example I would like to give you is of a tire or a wheel. Now, if my wheel is flat, you must understand that it means that gas has escaped and therefore it is flat. But as soon as I go to the filling station and ask them to fill it up for me, what happens is that gases take up space and have mass. Now, that is what we'll be covering in today's lesson. These factors were important for us to do the experiment that we will be doing today. If you remember correctly, grade 6s, I asked you to please bring a recyclable container that you will use to put your candle in and old wax crayons that you have been using at home. With these materials that we have today, we will be making a candle because we are living in times where we have load shedding, and I don't want you to have excuses anymore that there was no electricity. So when there's no electricity, you will use your candles to do my homework. Now, before we move on to doing the experiments, I would like to quickly go through the science lab rules. These are the rules. Firstly, grade 6s, it is very important to follow my rules. Follow my instructions, especially because we will be heating the wax. It is important that you follow and you listen to me carefully. Second thing, do not put things in your mouth. No matter how hungry you are, please do not eat my things. Thirdly, wash your hands. Please, it is important that we always work with clean hands. Then, do not be careful with sharp tools. Please, when you use sharp tools, be careful. Use goggles and proper clothing when needed. Now, we might not be using goggles, but please, no sticking or hanging clothes. It is important, especially because we will be dealing with a stove when we melt our wax. And lastly, please take responsibility. No screaming, no shouting, no running in the lab. Thank you. Okay, grade 6s, as stated previously, I asked you guys to come with your wax crayons that you no longer use anymore and a glass that your parents no longer use. It could be a chipped glass, or they no longer use it simply because it is old. Now, what's going to happen is I will be working on the stove to dissolve your wax that we will turn into a candle. So my student over here has decided to have a clear candle, and this is the wax when it has changed its state of form from a solid to a liquid. When I heat it, there is gas that escapes, like we saw when we did the candle. So now I'm going to give instructions on how to do the candle. I, as the teacher, will provide each and every one with a string that I have bought, and that is the only thing that I will provide that we will need to make this candle. The wax as well as the candle holder will be expected to be provided by the student. Okay, we can go. Now, what we're going to do is you're first going to hold your string and you are going to put it inside your glass or any other container you have decided to use. You are going to make sure that the string holds right up till the bottom, so that we can be able to use our candle until the very end. Step number 2 is you're going to take your wax and you will pour it inside your glass or whatever resources we may pour. It's in its liquid state. And my student is pouring the wax inside. Please take note that it is taking the shape of the glass, just like when we explained earlier on in the lesson. Can you pour all of it? And And now what's going to happen is we will leave them to sit so that they are going to the wax is going to get hard and it can turn into a candle. Now I'll show you ones that I have done so you can see the final product. What's going to happen is now it is a liquid, but when the candle is okay and ready to be used, it will turn again into a solid. This is a candle that I did prior. So what I did is I added my pictures and I just tried different things. I used a blue candle for this one. The second candle that I did at home, just to show you the final results, is a red one. What I did is I did try and put some artwork over here of some messages, and then this is the third one that I used. I used two colors over here. I used a clear wax as well as the red on top, and this is how your candle should look at the end. Now what I was trying to teach or work with here is to show you guys that when we wax, over here is in its solid state. When I dissolve it, it turns into liquid and there's gas that escapes. And once again, we're going to reverse it and take it back into its solid state as a candle. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the lesson.